So if there is any movement in the tiles you're going over, it will transfer through. So you use the decoupling. Hi, I'm Dan O'Brien from O'Brien Property Maintenance. Today we've got a cloakroom to tile. We've already self-levelled latex the floor, and then we're ready to install the Dura Original, which prevents any crackings appearing in the tiles. Lay it on a 4mm adhesive bed. Obviously give it a roll, leave it for half hour or so to set, and then we'll start installing the tiles. You'll probably be looking at a couple of hours for a small area like this. The other side, because it's a bit of an awkward area, you'll probably be looking at half a day or so, I'd say. Across the other side is exactly the same process.
Well, we just swept all the floor after we'd latexed. You need to make sure there's no dust on the surface because it will affect the primer going down. We're now putting the primer down, which acts more like a chemical key to give us a bond when we do lay the adhesive. This will need to set, obviously we need to leave this for a bit, but being on a porous material, it will set quite fast, so it's not too much of a problem. And then once this is dry, we can lay the matting down. It's always better to prime a surface before you start anything really, because if you don't, there's always the chance that something could go wrong. Usually I'd leave it for about 2 hours before laying onto it. If I was going over the top of, say, the tiles, which we did prime these underneath before we latexed. That took a little bit longer because there was nowhere for the moisture to escape.
We've prepped the floors. Obviously we're going over tiles, so we've done a self-levelling, as you can see. And then on top of the self-levelling, we have put on a primer sealer. Before we lay the tiles, we're putting a decoupling mat down, Dura Original. We're using the decoupling membrane to prevent any lateral movements transferring through to the tiled surface to prevent any cracks. It's just problematic floors really. I mean, with this one, we've gone over the top of tiles. Even though they looked quite solid and sound, you're not 100% guaranteed. So if there is any movement in the tiles you're going over, it will transfer through. So you use the decoupling basically to stop any cracks or anything transferring through to your new floor. You've obviously got the expansion and contraction of the subfloor. You've got your stresses, like your structural stresses, your moisture, temperature, water, damp. And that's obviously why we use the Dura Original. It acts as like an intermediate to prevent any of those stresses transferring through to your new tiled floor. I'm
just setting out the tiles to make sure where our cuts are going to be, and obviously we're going to start from the very back and work our way out, otherwise you have to step onto your tile. But I'm just making sure we're going to have even gaps, so I'll shift this over now because I know I've got small over here. I'd rather have equal gaps either side. It's more aesthetically pleasing, I'd say, that you've got equal cuts either side. So I've marked my centre line here, so I know if I run off that with a laser level, when you put these tiles next to each other with your gap, you've got equal lines either side. Obviously it goes underneath the floor at the moment because we need to put the skirting on. So then effectively you'll have equal cuts that side, and you're going to have a better finish.